Hello there. This is the Queen of England, and you're watching Digitspin Crypto, the best Electroneum YouTube show in the kingdom.
I can't tell you.
Hello, Dino.
He's a tech-savvy guy, gonna show you the way. You better load your bags, cause crypto's here to stay. Listen up, gonna teach you about this and that. But he's just a goofy guy in a straw hat. So join in and have a laugh. It's gonna be a good time, that's a fact. Information in crypto parodies. Sit back and enjoy the show. You just never know which way you'll go. So get ready for Digitspin Crypto.
Thanks, Richard. Appreciate you taking a few minutes.
Not at all. No. It's a pleasure to see you again. Nice to see you. How you been?
Very good. It's been about a year since I got a chance to talk to you personally last time. It was in England. And then
Time flies, doesn't it? Just crazy time flying.
yeah, absolutely. So, I wanted to maybe ask you a few questions today. You up for the challenge?
Of course, I'm always up for it. I'm always up for a question, even if it's about crypto.
Perfect. So, I've been with Electroneum for a long time and, through the ups and the downs, and I've been always very impressed with what the team's been putting together behind the scenes and then announcing and releasing. So with the current state of where Electroneum is today, how do you feel about it? How are you feeling about Electroneum as a whole?
Well, I'm more positive than I've ever been since we had the idea. So hopefully that is it's a dead straight honest answer, and it's hopefully what you want to hear, because when we launched, when we first reached out to the likes of Fiverr and Freelancer and Upwork, and we were trying to get Electroneum into the door there, and it was really hard work. We spent absolutely forever on one of them, thinking that it was going to go ahead, and then the lawyers ruined it. And we'd spoke, a couple of them sounded interested, but we couldn't get it anywhere. Then we decided, okay, let's write our own. But I genuinely thought it was going to be really, really hard to get people on board, which is why we talked about Task School, and we were going to build this system to try and educate people about ETN so that they'd want to come on board. And we thought we were going to have to bring on, hundreds of people by educating them up. I just checked before we came in here. We've there's 19,050 live tasks on Anytask. There's more than 15,000 people who've listed a task. They have to have Electroneum by definition. They've got to log in through the app or they have to have an Electroneum account. So it's driving people into the Electroneum ecosystem, and it's taken off in an incredible and crazy way. And it truly does. Everybody that I speak to about it suddenly makes sense. Crypto makes sense to them for the first time ever. Electroneum makes sense to them because we are the crypto that I'm talking about. It just ticks all the boxes now because it genuinely is an ecosystem. And loads of people talk about ecosystems, and loads of people talk about empowering the unbanked and loads of people talk, there's lots of talk out there, a lot of white papers out there, a lot of nonsense out there too. But now we've got it. We've got this thing together. There's an underlying value. We've got some more great things coming out in the app, by the way. 700 stores where you can buy food, and we've literally got a shopping cart coming in the app where you can add 50 kilos of rice and some construction materials and pick an address that's near you in your country and then go off and pick up some really cool stuff coming. So we've got an underlying value to what ETN is. We're finding these incredible technologists, these incredible people with digital skills, which we thought was going to be hard to find, and actually they've sought us out. We've had one or two influencers have gone out in different regions that have spoken about what Anytask is, and people have just flocked to it. So we've got TV. In fact, we've got two different TV ads in production. We hope to go live with a TV ad for Anytask in the United States on the 1st of January. which should drive in more buyers, because actually we thought it was going to be the other way around. Buyers were relatively easy to advertise for because it's a traditional marketplace now. Everyone knows what freelancing is. So we thought that they were going to be the easy side, and we thought getting the freelancers would be the hard side. But actually, it turns out we've had this vast number of them come in. So as we up the buyers, we've got genuine people making use of this thing, and this means new fiat money. Every single sale that comes in Anytask, new fiat money into the Electroneum ecosystem, without it being a speculator. You haven't got to convince someone to invest in something. They're just someone who comes along and says, "Yeah, I want to buy something for $100," and $100 comes off a Visa card. We go out for an exchange to buy that. I say we don't. The OTC desk does, but this purchase of ETN takes place, and it's bringing new money into the ecosystem. So yeah, I'm more excited and more confident about what we're doing now than I've ever been. When we first set out, it was all conceptual. Is it going to work? Now I know it works. Now all we've got to do is just expand it, which is always easier than coming up with the idea in the first place and making it. So yeah, it's really good, really, really good.
So the task school part, that's something you still want to do, but it's probably not as important. Or let me rephrase that.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I don't want to put engineers, I don't want to put coders on it. When the concept of it was that we genuinely thought we might have to give skills to people. I mean, for instance, there are so many skills that you can do even if you have no tangible skills. So, for instance, there'd be an Android app where you could take a product photo. This would be a real tricky one actually because it's clear, but you take a product photo, click, and you've got to get it cut out to a nice background. Well, there's Android apps that you can do that with for free. They'll produce you a nice high-res JPEG. You can zoom in and delete the background, and anyone can learn to do it. And we thought that would be the sort of thing we'd teach people to do on Anytask, and then you'd have people that have never before been a freelancer, and they would come on board. But what's happened is we've been inundated with people that had previously, there's a lot of people where countries have been cut off from PayPal. So Cambodia, Nigeria, both have real problems with PayPal, and that's how they used to be freelancers. So there's loads of freelancers there. There is already a massive community. They used to work on Fiverr, and they've not. They've gone off. They've disappeared off the system. Some of them still have the facility there. I think Fiverr do have a facility to enable people to get paid in a different way, but it's very expensive and it takes a long time. So they were talking about it, saying this has revolutionized them. They're back into the freelancing game. So they're really excited about it. And of course, we're also getting other freelancers from the likes of freelancer.com or Fiverr, because Fiverr charge 20%, for instance, and we don't charge our sellers anything. So, you'd be crazy not to come across and list, because we're not saying you have to leave Fiverr. You can carry on doing your work at Fiverr, but if you get an extra bit of work from us, fantastic. So, it's a sort of a no-brainer to come across. So actually, we don't need Task School quite how I envisaged it. And it would be silly of me, I think, to take people and make Task School happen when there are so many cool things we can do with Anytask to make it grow and to make this Electroneum ecosystem just pop.
So it's probably going to be put on the back burner or not a high priority right now.
That's exactly right. It's not. I'm not killing it, but at the moment, we're still taking on more coders. We've got coders coming on to do API integrations. Like I said, we've got quite a few companies that we're dealing with that want to integrate at the back end. And we've got a lot of things to do on the freelancer platform. ETN payments is still, so being able to buy with ETN as well. That's complex, not for a technical reason, believe it or not, what it is now. We actually built that system, and then the lawyers went, no, you can't do that, because actually if you were to do that, then you might be treading into the realms of Payment Services Directive, blah, blah, blah. So the lawyers scupper things when you're in a regulated, well, not that we are in a regulated environment, but we like to work as if we are in a fully regulated environment, because we know that that's where we will be. Eventually we will be, like all countries, I think we'll have a regulatory environment for crypto to work in. And we like to think we're spearheading that. We were KYC and AML, we built a KYC and AML system years before it was a requirement. But we just knew that it was eventually going to happen, and that's now happened in the UK. All companies in crypto have to have KYC and AML and register with the FCA. So we were ahead of the game, and we're now trying to be ahead of the game for the next step and the next step. So
you were talking about them lawyers. So, we all want USA exchanges, but You know, nobody wants to miss the next bull run. You know, that's really important. And everybody wants to miss John McAfee. So where do we stand in this process? So, win USA!
yeah. Well, I mean, I can't talk about it, but all I will do is say this has been a very, very, very long process. The John McAfee thing that you hinted at, I won't go into details of, but there's nothing in there that's bad specifically for us. There's 7 projects that are bad, but we weren't one of them, thank goodness. So what can we do? We just plod forwards. Nothing really fundamentally changed from that. So actually, everything we're trying to do for the US is still ongoing, but I can't say any of the words that you want me to say because from our UK perspective, that I'm just not allowed to talk about it. But that doesn't mean that we don't want what you're asking about to happen, even though you're not asking. It's a very tricky thing because we work in this environment where it's all lawyers and more lawyers, and it has to be that way. I have to do this sort of silly little dance, really. But look, we all want the same thing, and we have got ETN. So the thing I was just talking about a moment ago, we built a system to enable ETN to be used to pay for tasks on Anytask. So you'd think that would be the easiest thing in the world, but there was a chance we were going to get into this thing called the Payment Services Directive. We absolutely could not get into that. That would be a dangerous thing for us to do. So they said, that's fine. You just need to change the way that you're working. And we have to do this new ring fencing thing where it sits in the wallet and doesn't come out of the wallet until the task has been completed, then goes direct from person to person, peer to peer, with us not in the middle, and then we charge a second charge, which is a service fee. So there's all. It sounds ludicrous, really, but there's a new system being coded. Now, imagine when you have that. What do you need to be able to do? Because we're going to give significant savings to people who are paying in ETN. So what do you need? You need to be able to buy some ETN. And where are you going to be able to buy ETN? You're going to be able to buy ETN in bulk to make use of it as a utility. Nothing to do with investing. Go off to the Coinbases and to the US exchanges, which we need and we want. Nothing to do with investing. We need it because we need people to be able to buy ETN to make use of it as a utility. So there is good reason for this. People are using ETN already to top up people's phones in loads and loads of countries around the world, 140 countries around the world. People have family, they've migrated. They want to be able to top up. There are so many utility cases for us. So I am on it, or is all I can say, because we understand that there are lots of people out there waiting for that utility, and we are working hard to achieve it. And it is still ongoing. There's no line drawn under that.
Exactly, because as you know, we're on Splinterlands now, and I've been talking with the Splinterlands guys and doing some videos about it. Not only is it really cool, it's got you could buy NFTs with Electroneum. So, I've been using that, and I'm like, okay, now I got to refill my Electroneum. What's the best way to do that? So I know we're all holding our breath and know that you guys are going to work hard to make that happen for us, get us on there so that the mechanics of getting Electroneum becomes that much easier. And we appreciate that. Hey, there was a specific country that really liked Electroneum, and I was trying to get an update. Cambodia.
Okay, yeah, I mean, okay, well, there's quite a few things going on for Cambodia. Number one is we had a whole load of phones that were stuck. They're still stuck. We've got another whole load of phones stuck on their way. They may even be there. I'm not too sure where they are now. They went off to Heathrow and then they disappeared. So they're somewhere. Those phones, so we've got a few projects out there where the phones are still going. So that's still live and well. People who have those phones have a UUID, I think it's called, in the phone, and we recognize those, and we're still giving ETN rewards to phone owners. That's within the 2% token economic inflation rate that I talked about before. So that's all handled. Cambodia, we are, again, I don't want to name the chap because the deal isn't quite done yet, but we have somebody on the ground there that is very influential. and we know that we've got these pockets of Anytask users, and we want to expand that out with some more use cases on the ground. What we actually have done is integrate something massive in Cambodia, but I don't know. I know that I'm not allowed to talk about it. This is what's frustrating is you're going to be able to see it in the app if you are in Cambodia, and you're going to be able to use it. And it's a massive integration that nobody has ever done in crypto. And it's so frustrating that my lawyers have said, you definitely can't talk about that. I'm like, but use it. I went, yeah, well, they can talk about it, but you can't talk about it. So it will come out through osmosis what it is and what it. But it's billions of dollars. It's a billion dollar company. You know, monster company that we've integrated with. But like I say, I just can't talk about it because it gets into the realms of financial services, and we are not in a fully regulated market, and we need these things to come together, because then everybody knows what they're doing and what we can say and what we can't say. And what we don't want to do is jeopardize the project by boasting about some amazing things. And that's what all other projects just constantly boast about, these things. We've done some incredible things that we're not allowed to talk about, and that is tremendously frustrating. But I think once we launch this, and the integration is already done, I don't quite know when the launch will be, but weeks rather than months, I suspect, or if it is months, it'll only be a couple of months. It's a fairly big integration. So what it means is that the use cases in Cambodia go crazy, which then means that the reason to work on Anytask from Cambodia go crazy. So that empowerment angle is working really well. And once again, like I say, I reiterate that everybody coming in to buy those low cost tasks is injecting fiat into the ecosystem for it to transfer around. So not that fiat, once again, just throw this out there for the lawyers, fiat does not transfer around our system. We must make sure we're very clear of that. It's not money, it's not fiat.
It's just value. It's value. Hey, and I don't expect you to reply to this or anything, but I've done a little research, and I saw that Cambodia National Bank's trying to go all crypto, and they're building a system, and they're supposed to roll it out by the end of this year. And so that would be nice if everything kind of works together, and everybody in Cambodia is using digital currency. And so
we'll just say it's not the central bank of Cambodia that we're working with, by the way. It's so hard to answer that question without saying there's somebody else. Oh, crikey.
Yeah, don't give the beans.
I always used to say the lawyers are poking me with a stick, but I actually, that you get those rather hideously cruel looking things, but the dog collars where people zap their dogs if the dog barks. Those are the lawyers who just do it. I'd know when to stop.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get you in any trouble, all right? So I do want to congratulate the Electroneum team. There's been a significant difference in how they've been interacting with the community lately. And I give kudos to Ali. I give kudos to Jonathan. Those two guys are out there interacting with us.
They're great. They're great. I mean, all the team are great guys. They really are. I think there was a little bit of, the beginning of the COVID lockdown, people had to find their feet a little bit, but actually, the people you just mentioned, Jonathan and Ollie, they work all the hours that there are. They're always online. They're always part of it. We've got some people that start and finish at normal times. They've got families and they've got children, and that's fine. That's what people have to do. But then there are some people that do, as you say, just go, out into to the outstanding category. And in tech, we've got loads and loads of those as well. Virtually, if not all, the tech team are just always switched on. If I go on to, we've got an Electroneum Tech WhatsApp group, so if there's anything not working at any point, I drop them a line. It doesn't matter if it's the middle of the night, someone gets back to me. So it is a great team, and everybody does feel it. Everybody knows that we're trying to achieve something amazing. And like I say, this Anytask thing has ticked such a lot of boxes for other people. When we're talking about the project, if you just talk about crypto is awash with all sorts of nonsense. And when you talk about crypto, everyone just switches off. It's like, oh yeah, whatever. It's just some sort of crazy scam, isn't it? Crypto, they don't get it. And then when as soon as you put Anytask into that, and you say, no, look, just follow it through. This person can't get a bank account. Even if they wanted one, they can't get one. And even if they had a bank account, it would cost such a vast amount of money to send them $2. They couldn't possibly do it. But you can send them this $2 and they can spend it on airtime or data. But even if they don't want any airtime or data, remember that the chap that they buy the cooked egg on a stick, the vendor guy, he now takes ETN because he wants to buy airtime. Or maybe he doesn't even want that. But he knows the guy in the shop buys the airtime because he bulk sells it. So it just gives it the underlying value. So we've now got this proper ecosystem where you don't need an exchange to use ETN. You can earn it and you can spend it without using an exchange. And that's the part that this unbanked, so many crypto projects go on about solving this unbanked problem, and they don't do it. They don't solve the problem. And Electroneum does solve the problem, and that gives us access to a multi-trillion-dollar market, which is just massive. The freelancer space itself is gargantuan, and we're already disrupting a disruptive industry. So I'm very excited about the future for all of it, because there are so many micropayment reasons. We're already integrating with a stock photography project because for diverse photographs, because actually we're the perfect product to pay for diversity in photographs. There's a lot of the stock projects don't have much diversification in terms of their ethnicity and all sorts of other things, whereas trying to pay the people to get those is quite tricky. So we're doing something there, and you're just going to see more and more ETN integrations as we grow, and as that environment, the regulatory environment, enfolds crypto. We're going to be the go-to choice because we've always towed the line and made sure that we do things right.
No, it's important to have more uses as Electroneum gets used throughout all these different projects. There's more in the system and locking up and used, and allows for more demand. Also, I think you stole part of Jonathan's thunder because he was talking about a new idea. So I think that was it.
I drop things out I'm not supposed to talk about. They shouldn't tell me anything, I think. I've just looked at myself on the screen. I've been looking at you, and I've been looking at the little white dot, and I hadn't looked at myself. I've just looked at myself. I feel like I need a little powder lady to come along and try to get rid of my shit.
It's just because I'm burning up in here, That's all.
That's why I need a hat now. Oh, you very kindly gave me a hat. Could have had my matching hat from the office.
Yeah, I left it at the office. He also mentioned something about he was talking to Basic Attention Token.
Yeah. Well, we've got an advertising. I think maybe in the next week or so. I think maybe even the end of this week. I'm not sure, but we go live with advertising on the Brave browser for Anytask. It makes sense. Everybody's already crypto focused, and there are tons of people on there that do creatives or non-creative, whatever they want to buy. So we've got some advertising going live on there for Electroneum and for Anytask, two slightly different things, but all off one account. I think it goes through anyway. Certainly our budget for both of them adds up to enough that Brave are keen to operate with us. And there are some of the backgrounds and things that, when you open a new tab, you get a background. Those things are being organized. So there's some pretty cool stuff working there. Brave obviously when you install Brave, you don't know the email addresses, so we can't reach out specifically to the users, but certainly we can advertise on there. And I've always liked the Brave project right from the beginning. So there's a chap called Ben, who's their lead technologist that I've met in London at things a few times. I think he's based out of London. I'm not sure he's in London at the moment, but they're great guys, the Brave browser guys. If you don't use Brave browser already out there, you need to install it. And if you don't use Anytask yet, you need to go and use Anytask. Go and have a look. You won't believe what you can buy for a few bucks.
Absolutely. And, and I'm really excited for I think you guys have gone way into the next league when you're starting to interact with other projects. So kudos to you guys. I'm really excited about that. Electroneum has changed how by getting themselves out there again, letting people know what Electroneum's about, getting influencers to talk about it, educate people about Electroneum, because a lot of folks don't understand it, don't know what the current state of it is. Are we going to continue down that path of bringing on some more YouTubers and Reddit people? And because I think it's going to make a big difference, Richard, in how people see Electroneum, and how they're going to be able to talk about it in a more positive light. Because once you see what Electroneum does, you want to be part of it, and it's just getting that out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the answer is yes. Of course, we'll be continuing to forge those relationships. It's as once again, what's happened with those relationships is again Anytask, because there are so many projects that people, they don't understand what value do they bring, what do they do, what's the point, that people have these crazy, as I still call them crazy, I'm sure they don't all think they're crazy, but they build an underlying protocol, and then they'll say, well, the world can come and use this protocol, but no one is going to use it, and likelihood is no one ever will use it, and yet people are speculating on it and doing this crazy stuff. We just focus on getting out there and getting users, giving them value, making it work, creating a real business, and it's a space that doesn't actually have a vast amount of real businesses in it, even though it has a vast amount of market participants in it. So we're in. I think we're positioned really well for the future, and those podcasts and the other people, as they start to see what we're doing, and we start to grab some market share in that freelancer space. And like I said, we've got TV advertising starting next year that will start making Anytask more of a household name in the US. Oh, we're including the Electroneum logo at the end of that as well, by the way. So we've got some brand building going on for Anytask, which a rising tide raises all boats. So the more we promote within, it lifts up the Electroneum project, and the more we lift up Anytask and it's a success, the more likely it is that other people go, well, hang on, there's this massive multi-trillion-dollar marketplace. I want to get to it. How do I get to it? Well, you can sit back, spend 4 or 5 years of your life making a payment system, which is possible. You could go and do that. Cost you millions, but it's doable. Or alternatively, you can choose one that's tried, it's tested, it's running, and it's available, and there's no particular integration cost. It's fairly easy, and they're running in an environment that seems to be adhering to whatever regulations are put forwards. And we're just an obvious choice for this market. And whilst at the moment there are not many people in that market, I just think that it's just going to be the market of the future, because there's so many people there, and the difficulty has been that they can't buy things, and that's the reason that they've been excluded. It's not because they haven't got any money. Actually, some of them have got money, of course. It's not everybody that's dirt poor. There's huge populations of people that are in the same situation that have got relatively good wealth. And the people in the global north would love to sell them a digital service, but they've got no facility to sell them a digital service. So Electroneum just solves that problem, and we just need to make Anytask the shiny beacon of that. Because if you make that a success, it's so obvious that the market is there, and then it will drive people in. And some of those people, like I say, will go direct and they'll try and make a competing product and they'll do all those things. That's fine. But then there will be others that will say, no, actually, it's just be a whole lot easier to reach out to these guys, because actually, even if the likes of Fiverr or the likes of Upwork came to us and said, oh, you run Anytask, but would you mind if we used it? We'd go, no, go ahead. That's what it's for. We're not trying to be exclusive. And whereas most businesses would be trying to be exclusive, but we've got this, the same sort of thing. We're trying to make Electroneum a massive success. So I wouldn't be in any way bothered by somebody else in that same sector reaching out and saying, could you give us some advice on getting that market on board? We'd be quite
incorporate Electroneum. That makes sense. I think I've hit everything that I'd like to hit you with, and you've been really generous with your time. I know that Crypto Man gave me a question to give you. It's a one-word answer.
Not with me. If you ever heard me give one word on, does not know the LZ. Okay.
His question was Ferrari or Lamborghini?
Ferrari.
Ferrari. Hey, you owe me $20, crypto man. I told you.
Although I have to say that in the, you see these ETN art that people have made. Some of it's hilarious. Me in a spacesuit on the moon and all these things. One of those was absolutely hilarious. There was me in the long white robes with a sort of a halo around my head, holding my hands forth like this. Some of those things did make me laugh. But
we have a lot of fun making them out there.
Probably a Ferrari guy. I've got a good friend of mine who's got loads and loads and loads of Lamborghinis and Ferraris. So, he doesn't like to, and he'll watch this, so you know who you are. He doesn't like dirt in his car, so I'm too terrified to sit in them just in case I have any dirt on me. So, yeah, I guess I could go and play with those cars if I really wanted to.
There you go. There you go. Any thing that you want to spill the beans on or share last minute?
I probably already have spilled the beans on a few we shouldn't have done. We've got some great things going on. I spent too much of my day reviewing contracts. So that tells you something. I loathe reviewing contracts. There was a time in my life where I sat in my corner at the office and tinkered around with big data analysis and writing scripts and scraping data from the internet and doing stuff. And I love that. I was always up to my eyes in code and I was always doing something. I was writing API stuff, writing trading bots, to be fair. Bullion Vault, gold and silver trading bot. Love that. But they were the happy days. And then the ICO came along and it's been complete pandemonium ever since. And now I do get stuck into to reading lots and lots of contracts before, because lawyers might be able to read them and tell you whether they're okay, but the fundamental business part of it as to whether it's acceptable from a business perspective, I have to be the person who reads it. So I do some fairly dull stuff nowadays, but the fact that I'm doing it tells you that good things are afoot. The fact that I'm up to my neck in these things means that there are lots and lots of opportunity. It doesn't always come across. You know, we've got one really big thing that was poised, and once again, it's sitting there. The guys have said to me, "Look, hold off for a minute. Let me just get some other bits and pieces done." But so there are loads of things coming, but I can't really name any of them until you know what it's like. When they go live, I'll jump around and shout about them if I can. Otherwise, you might find that you only hear about it on the grapevine. So there are going to be one or two times when people are saying, well, is this happening? And people, once the name's out there, people will be asking me. I don't even know how to respond then. If somebody says to me, are you integrated with this? What do? I must say yes. But I probably need to run that past the lawyers and say, look, people are going to know this. Just because I'm not saying it, well, if somebody interviews me and asks, maybe the answer is then it'll be okay. I don't know. It's kind of lunacy to me. The whole thing seems ludicrous that you can... That your product can be being used and integrated with a large business and you can't jump around and go, this is fantastic. Yeah. Seems crazy, doesn't it? But it's all to do with this regulatory environment that doesn't really exist yet. So there's so many unknowns. And the last thing that we want to do as a project is jeopardize the project by me going, rah, 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 and upsetting the FCA. The FCA are the people that we have to look after in the UK and make sure that we comply. And sometimes they don't even know themselves because it's early days in crypto. We pushed out with a load of questions when we applied, and they went, "Well, just follow the advice." And we went, "Yeah, but this isn't in the advice. So could you tell us?" And they went, "We can't answer any questions because we don't know the answers." So they're learning too, and that's how it has to be. Crypto will move forwards, but we are at the very spearhead of crypto. So we're in a great place, and to come right back full circle to the beginning of this, I genuinely feel that ETN, mostly through Anytask and the huge success that has become, is now in a better place than it has ever been at any point since I literally sat down and came up with the word Electroneum sitting over there in my study a few years ago.
No, that's fantastic. And my only advice, keep connecting with other projects, getting involved, because then they'll talk about it. It'll get more interaction. you know, like the Splinterlands and the bat, you know, advertise, anything you could do. That's fantastic. Keep pumping along. You guys keep working hard. We're behind you as a community, and we appreciate everybody's efforts and all the
and I am extremely grateful for you saying that, and for the community that are behind us. You know, it can get sometimes frustrating. You've heard me get frustrated with lawyers and the system. I'm a bit of a libertarian. I just think as long as you're not doing harm, I think you should be allowed to do pretty much what you want, as long as it's not a bad thing. It's, you know, you should be allowed to do it. But that's not how the world works in the real world. And so, you know, I follow the rules and make sure we do everything by the book so that we've got something that's sustainable here. But the community that are out there, and I see it on social media when I'm lurking from time to time and having a look, and the team say it, that there is a strong community out there that have got faith and have been around for a long time. And I am ridiculously grateful to you and to them for everything that they do and the support that they give, because it's not easy to maintain that focus and keep going forwards when you only have the negative voices, which you know are out there. So the fact that there's such a positive voice that definitely drowns out the negative has kept us all in the business buoyant and kept us moving forwards and made us stronger and stronger, and will just take us into the future. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Excellent. Thanks, Richard. Appreciate you spending some time with me.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.